Most gamers know that the modern game is designed to keep you addicted. They are games as a service, things that are always updating, always online, with new content, new patches, new DLCs that are basically designed to keep you playing this one game forever and ever. That's what game companies want. They don't want to have to continue making new ideas, new games, trying out things that could fail and cost them money. No. They would way rather have you be sucked into Call of Duty forever. They'd rather have you be playing Overwatch or StarCraft or whatever the game is. They want you playing that forever. And sometimes games get this really well. Fortnite is a game that people are still playing years after it came out. And I've picked it up, I've played it, and I'm still enjoying it, even though I don't play it often. There are games that do it well, and there are games that do it poorly. Games that just want to sell you things, whether that be cosmetics, in-game items, more season passes, and they're just not worth it. Halo Infinite is a fun game, but it's one that I rarely play anymore because there's nothing really left to do in it. Their season passes are garbage. There's very little customization or incentive to play beyond just playing itself, which is fun, but with no reward at all, I died out, and so did my friends. But sometimes a game can get it absolutely right, and today I want to talk about the game that has had me hooked for months now, and it's something you probably don't even know about, and that game is Leaf Blower Revolution. This is a fantastic game, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you my game and kind of walk you through the progress and evolution of when you start this game and get you to understand how it works, and I'm going to explain along the way why it works for me and what I think it does really well, with some tips and tricks for you as developers for what you can do to implement these things into your own game. So first off, Leaf Blower is an idle game. What that means is it's like Cookie Clicker. So that means that you are playing it from time to time, and then you log off, and all of a sudden, it is then doing things in the background. You're collecting more rewards, you are growing more powerful, you're getting more clicks, generating more cookies, blowing more leaves, whatever the case is. An idle game is one that you play for a little while, you get offline, you gain rewards, and then you come back and you play it more. They're meant to be played casually, and then you get rewards for actually not playing the game. Now, this game, I think, does it really, really well. So let's break it down. First thing you're gonna do is start in your garden right here. And I've got a bunch of extra things happening on the screen, so try not to worry about it too much. But you start in your garden, and there's a bunch of different places you can go. So you've got your neighbor's garden that you can teleport to once you unlock new areas, and in your neighbor's garden, there's enemies that you have to fight. So you start by just blowing away leaves, getting stronger, collecting more, and every time there's a leaf, you can actually upgrade some of the abilities on that leaf or that make your character stronger. So you upgrade the basic leaf, you get the next one, and I'll show you here. There's a tremendous amount of leaves here. There's a couple dozen, right? So you get here, okay, cool, done that. Now I can go to this next section where there's another kind of leaf, and there's even more enemies that are stronger. And so you've got to be on top of your game, you got to be upgraded, and when you reach a point when you can't go any further, you go in and you save and you quit. And when you quit, when you come back, you've got a bunch of rewards waiting for you and all available. And so it incentivizes you to go offline when you reach a point when you just can't go any further, because the next thing you need to do, well, you need to be offline for some of it. And as you're playing, you also get new tools. So you start with your hands, you move to a rake, then a leaf blower, then a nuclear leaf blower, then you get a rocket engine, and it's all great fun, and you keep going and going and going until you hit things like the leaf tower, which is a whole new way to play the leaf blower game. So you had a game inside the Leaf Blower Revolution game where you're blowing off leaves, collecting power-ups, and defeating enemies. And now we're inside of a tower that we are attempting to climb. We have to defeat a certain number of enemies to beat a floor, and you can upgrade things to make that easier. And then you go and you go and you go, and as you defeat these floors, there are actually achievements. So if you beat floor 1, you get an achievement. If you beat floor 11, you get an achievement, and so on and so forth. Which is an entire game in and of itself, because the tower goes to floor 450,000, which I've beaten. So there's a lot you can do there. And that's just one of them. Once you get there, you actually reach even new places like the Infernal Desert, which requires you to focus on health for your player. You've got health, you've got damage, you've got blowing power, you have all these different statuses and effects and abilities and attributes that you can minimize and maximize depending on a new thing that's introduced as you're playing called crafting. And the crafting zone is where you craft a leaf that has abilities inside of it. And these abilities, they modify your attributes and they make you stronger in that area. And you can craft these leaves for a certain cost, but that cost can be hard to get. And so one of the things you can do is you can open up trading, and you can trade your stuff for other things. And you can do that, and then you can craft and then get stronger and then visit these new areas and continue on and so forth. And at any time during the game, you can go in and visit the Cheese Pub, a fun little place where you can talk to the bartender, you can go on quests, which is just turning in materials essentially. You can try to answer some riddles, which I definitely looked up more than one of these. You can play the claw machine, where you are moving a little claw and trying to collect things. This is a really great way to collect resources in the very beginning when you really don't have much. You can go and you can count leaves. You can go and you can play the slot machine, where you can win some and oftentimes lose more than that. You can also play this mini game where you are a little cheese and you have to fling yourself to get to the goal. And when you complete it, you get a reward. And all of these rewards accumulate into your main goal, which is more and more levels unlocked. So when you finally get to the end of the first area, you uncover a black leaf hole. You go into it, and it uncovers an entire new stage with new unlocks, and everything you've done before is kept, but now all of a sudden, you have a whole new slew of things to learn. You have shards that you have to gain, you have to craft, you have to use, you have to fuse your leaves, and we have a whole new place called the Sacred Nebula. And you can see down here, I'm all the way to the energy belt, but there's even more things down here. I'm working on fighting these really huge bosses, which I cannot defeat yet, and I have been playing this game. Let's see. If we go to, where does it tell me? I've played 65 days of this game. Now, most of that is the game just running in the background as I just am accumulating resources and doing certain things. But I have played this game for a very long time at this point. And that's like 65 days of the game being online, not being offline and gaining stuff. That's actually playtime when it's up in my browser. So that gives you an idea of how much I've been playing this. Probably way too much. And alongside that, there's tons of things I didn't even mention, like the Borb Ventures. You've got, you can actually go and buy upgrades with gems, which you can spend real money for, or you can just earn them inside of the game. You don't ever have to pay anything if you don't want to, which is a key ingredient, in my opinion, to making a great game. You've got unique leaves, you've got pets, you've got artifacts, you've got cards and equipment and materials and relics and scrolls, and there's a lot. But the thing is, this game does such a good job of introducing each one of those things to you as you're playing the game. So, you start out in your home garden, and then you work up your way one leaf at a time, one instrument at a time, one robot at a time. And the way the game really keeps its longevity is not by tricking you, but by actually making you earn everything you have to do. So when you earn a certain number of leaves and you're ready to, you actually go in and you do a prestige. If you've ever played a game like Call of Duty or anything like that that has prestiges, it's the exact same idea. So you prestige and you lose everything before that, but you gain a valuable new resource. In this case, a coin, where you can upgrade things that are semi-permanent. So this allows you to prestige and gain a lot. And then there's another prestige, which is the big leaf crunch. This erases all your coins, but gives you another new thing with permanent upgrades. And then there's a final one, and that does the exact same thing. And so this game, although you lose progress as you prestige as you're playing, it never feels unfair because you're the one making the choice. And it always leads to new rewards, new permanent upgrades that help you play better, to get further. And it makes you feel like you're really making progress inside of this game. Leaf Blower Revolution is a really fun, silly, idle game, but it does a great job at keeping players engaged. It launched on GX Games, that's actually where I found it, several months ago, and well over 1 million people have already played this game. There's so much that you can do inside of here that it keeps you coming back again and again and again. And this is a lesson for all the developers out there. You don't need to take things away from players, make them scarce, make them have to spend real money to make any progress in your game. You need to give them a valuable, incentivized feedback loop. For me, collecting these leaves and gaining new upgrades and unlocking new areas, it's always fun because there's always something new to do. It's not that I have to get there, it's that I actually want to get there. And I haven't spent money on it, but with how much time I've played, I probably should at this point. And the thing is, I can, but the thing is I also don't have to. To me, that's what makes a great mobile and idle and just game in general, is if you want to spend money on it, great. Give them the option to do that. Let players spend money, but let the other players be able to do it in a meaningful and in a way that doesn't take forever to get there. I've been earning gems that I can spend in the actual shop to buy things forever. I've bought almost every single thing you can purchase in here. And like I said, I haven't spent any money. But this is a great game. It deserves support and it deserves recognition, which is why I wanted to spread it out there. Okay, this game is fantastic, it's fun, and it keeps you engaged in a way that isn't dirty, that doesn't take advantage of you, and it's rewarding to play. You're always thinking about the next thing to do. I am constantly working on my crafted leaves here to make them the absolute best I can be, or best they can be, because they are the key to get further. But they weren't the key earlier on. They were useless earlier, and so I focused on something else, and then I focused on something else. And there's so many different ways to play this game that it keeps you thinking about it, it keeps you engaged, and it just does such a great job at all of that. So I hope that was helpful. Hope you learned something. And if you haven't played Leaf Blower Revolution, check it out. It's on Steam, it's on GX Games, and it's completely free to try and play. And if you give it a shot, or if you're playing, let me know where you're at. And if you're pretty far like me, please tell me the crafted leaves I need to beat these stupid bosses, because I am absolutely stuck. I'd appreciate that. All right. Thanks everyone. Leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe for future content. And until next time, keep making, keep learning, and I'll talk to you later.